Today's Noirvember film was Hugo Fregonese's One-Way Street from 1950. It stars James Mason, whom I love and has one of the great cinematic voices of all time. Märta Torén, who I'm not sure if I'd seen anything with her. She was one of those international stars. She was Swedish. There we go. Who slowly shifted to making American films and then went back to making European films. I found a really great photo of her with a giant fluffy cat. Wow. Also, she died at the age of 31 of a cerebral hemorrhage, so that's terrible. So she died 7 years after making this film. That's really sad. Very noir, so we'll bring that in. This also co-stars Duryea and early in the film, Elam. So you know you're in a film noir when you have both Duryea and Elam. Like, that's it. The plot is that James Mason plays a doctor for a mob boss. He claims to have poisoned that mob boss, is going to steal his money and take his lady and tell him later what the antidote is after he's gotten far away. And at first you think that he and the lady are in love, and that's what the mob boss, Duryea, thinks. However, later you discover that she's just sick of being there and wanted out and convinced the doctor to take her with him. However, because this is a noir and everyone makes bad decisions and then bad decisions coupled on bad decisions, on their way to Mexico together, they fall in love and then try to go straight in a fishing village. However, they've already stolen $200,000 from a mob boss and, as far as he's concerned, stolen his property, meaning her. There's a gross backstory about how he brought her father over to work for him, and then the father died when she was 14, and then Duryea basically groomed her to be like his companion, and it's a little gross. So you're not rooting for Duryea, obviously. There's a couple of really great deaths in this movie. Elam has a good death. This one guy, who I'm not sure who the actor was, has a good death because he's like the third guy or the fourth guy in their little syndicate. There's a good sort of heavy who keeps helping Duryea, but then later it's just like, you're such an asshole. The bulk of this film takes place in Mexico, so it's one of those noirs. There's quite a few noirs, obviously ending with something like Touch of Evil, where Americans hide out in Mexico with their stolen money or other things of that nature. I'm thinking like Ride the Pink Horse and is it Border Incident and Naked Alibi and some of those others that are these sort of border Mexico noirs. It's a whole subgenre. So this is from 1950. It was released by Universal Pictures. If you look around, you can find a copy of it. And I thought it was quite good. It had a very depressing ending, as it should. It's definitely a noir. It's very taut. It's an hour and 20 minutes and not a wasted moment. And just when you think there's some redemption, everyone gets theirs. You know what I mean? So it's a good one. And you get to listen to James Mason talking. So, like, where's the bad? This is 1950s One-Way Street, directed by Hugo Fregonese. He's from Argentina. And I highly recommend it.